I'm Sherry Fieser from the Trome Memorial Library, part of Adams County Library System, here today with you for today's Aesop's Fables. The first one is The Cock and the Jewel. The cock was busily scratching and scraping about to find something to eat for himself and his family when he happened to turn up a precious jewel that had been lost by its owner. "Aha!" said the cock. "No doubt you are very costly, and he who lost you would give a great deal to find you. But as for me, I would choose a single grain of barley corn before all the jewels in the world. Precious things are without value to those who cannot prize them." The next one is The Monkey and the Camel. At a great celebration in honor of King Lion, the monkey was asked to dance for the company. His dancing was very clever indeed, and the animals were all highly pleased with his grace and lightness. The praise that was showered on the monkey made the camel envious. He was very sure that he could dance quite as well as the monkey, if not better, so he pushed his way into the crowd, and that was gathered around the monkey, and rising on his hind legs began to dance. But the big hulking camel made himself very ridiculous as he kicked out his knobby legs and twisted his long clumsy neck. Besides, the animals found it hard to keep their toes from under his heavy hooves. At last, when one of the huge feet came within an inch of King Lion's nose, the animals were so disgusted that they set upon the camel in a rage and drove him out into the desert. Shortly afterward, refreshments consisting mostly of camel's hump and ribs were served to the company. Do not try to ape your betters. The Wild Boar and the Fox. A wild boar was sharpening his tusks busily against the stump of a tree when a fox happened by. Now the fox was always looking for a chance to make fun of his neighbors, so he made a great show of looking anxiously about as if in fear of some hidden enemy. But the boar kept right on with his work. "Why are you doing that?" asked the fox at last with a grin. "There isn't any danger that I can see." "True enough," replied the boar, "but when danger does come, there will not be time for such work as this. My weapons will have to be ready for us then, or I shall suffer for it. Preparedness for a war is the best guarantee of peace." The next one is The Ass, the Fox, and the Lion. An ass and a fox had become close comrades and were constantly in each other's company. While the ass cropped a fresh bit of greens, the fox would devour a chicken from the neighboring farmyard or a bit of cheese filched from the dairy. One day the pair unexpectedly met a lion. The ass was very much frightened, but the fox calmed his fears. "I will talk to him," he said. So the fox walked boldly to the lion. "Your Highness," he said in an undertone, so the ass could not hear him, "I've got a fine scheme in my head. If you promise not to hurt me, I will lead that foolish creature yonder into a pit where he can't get out, and you can feast at your pleasure." The lion agreed, and fox returned to ass. "I made him promise not to hurt us," said the fox. "But come, I know a good place to hide till he is gone." So the fox led the ass into a deep pit. But when the lion saw that the ass was his for the taking, he first of all struck down the traitor fox. Traitors may expect treachery. The next one is the beasts and the bat. The birds and the beasts declared war against each other. No compromise was possible, and so they went at it tooth and claw. It was said the quarrel grew out of the persecution. The race of geese suffered at the teeth of the fox family. The beast, too, had cause for fight. The eagle was constantly pouncing on the hare, and the owl dined daily on mice. It was a terrible battle. Many a hare and many a mouse died. Chickens and geese fell by the score, and the victor always stopped for a feast. Now the bat family had not openly joined either side. They were a very politic race. So when they saw the birds getting the better of it. They were birds for all there was in it. They were birds for all there was in it. But when the tide of battle turned, they immediately sided with the beast. When the battle was over, the conduct of the bats was discussed at the peace conference. Such deceit was unpardonable, and birds and beasts made common cause to drive out the bats. And since then, the bat family hides in dark towers and deserted ruins, flying only in the night. The deceitful have no friends. The next one is the lion, the bear, and the fox. Just as a great bear rushed to seize a stray kid, a lion leaped from another direction upon the same prey. The two fought ferociously for the prize until they had received so many wounds that both sank down, unable to continue the battle. Just then a fox dashed up and seized the kid, made off with it as fast as he could go, while the lion and the bear looked on in helpless rage. How much better it would have been, they said, to have shared in a friendly spirit. Those who have all the toil do not always get the profit. And that is, one more. One more. The wolf and the lamb. One more for today. A stray lamb stood drinking early one morning on the bank of a woodland stream. That very same morning, a hungry wolf came by farther up the stream, hunting for something to eat. He soon got his eyes on a lamb. As a rule, Mr. Wolf snapped up such delicious morsels without making any bones about it, but this lamb looked so very helpless, and innocent that the wolf felt he ought to have some kind of an excuse for taking its life. "How dare you paddle around in my stream and stir up all the mud?" he shouted fiercely. "You deserve to be punished severely for your rashness." "But, your highness," replied the trembling lamb, "do not be angry. I cannot possibly muddy the water you are drinking up there. Remember, you are upstream and I am downstream." "You do muddy it," retorted the wolf savagely, "and besides, I have heard that you told lies about me last year." "How could I have done so?" pleaded the lamb. "I wasn't born until this year." "If it wasn't you, it was your brother." "I have no brothers." "Well then," snarled the wolf, "it was someone in your family anyway. But no matter who it was, I do not intend to be talked out of my breakfast." And without more words, the wolf seized that poor lamb and carried her off to the forest. The tyrant can always find an excuse for his tyranny. The unjust will not listen to the reasoning of the innocent. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me.